Okay, so today I have a few things I want to talk about, so I'll see if I can keep it straight. One of the things is, I wanted to say this. So I've been trying to get off of all, the toxic chemicals and stuff, like even face creams and stuff. You have to be so careful because they put so much chemicals in there, and then it messes with your skin. And so it can make it look good while you use it, and then when you go off, your skin, goes into withdrawals or something. So you got to really be careful of the products you use. So I've been trying to switch over, that's why I've always got all these oils on my face and stuff, and they always get in my hair. But so I washed my hair with just honey and water. And my daughter had done it the other day. She has really, her hair is like my mom's. It's really coarse and thick and wavy. And so I knew it'd be different for hers because mine's a lot more fine. But so I washed it with just honey. It was the end of the honey, I put water in there, and then you put it in there and you just use it. It doesn't suds up, obviously. But I was thinking, because I have all these oils in my hair anyways, but that because the honey kind of made it look shiny. It didn't feel oily or look oily or smell oily or anything. And usually I put you can put powder. I learned this at the facialist. When you get that oil in your hair, you put baby powder and it soaks it up, or some kind of powder. I don't know. There's certain hair powder you can get if you want to go all out. So, but watch out for the chemicals. All the things, Jesus Christ, all the freaking things with the chemicals. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about anyways. But anyhow, I don't know. The jury's out still. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it, but I want to try it. So I wanted to tell other people, if you want to try it, you might like it. Hers turned out really good. If you have wavy, thick hair, hers turned out really, really, really good. But anyways, so that's just a little thing. But speaking of all the toxins and stuff, so the one who had tried it, she has the autoimmune problems and the metal allergies. And one of my daughters was asking yesterday, because she's, because everybody wants labels, like everybody loves labels so much. But it's hard to, the reason doctors come up with these vague things and they're just like a big old whole bunch of stuff umbrellaed underneath is because they don't know. And I don't even think that they really realize at this point how much arsenic poisoning they're really dealing with, I don't think that I think it's just coming together for everybody. I don't think the doctors, I think some doctors maybe have a little bit, but, they all work for corporations now. And I'm sure that they are probably inundated, the word, that with just bureaucracy and paperwork and bullshit. And I'm sure that, they're distracted all the time and they have no idea, how really toxic our environment is to the human being, human body. Because now, they switched it. Now some people are no longer called human beings. So whatever, us, the living beings on this planet. Because it affects the plants, it affects the animals. I know it is. That's why Winston got cancer. It's why Stella's got all these issues. I mean, it's also the breeding problem, ethical problems in our society. But also the toxins. Just freaking, they're giving us cancer and shit. And the autoimmune. So she has a really weird thing. And so this is what I'm going to talk about. So Thanksgiving, I think maybe she went under some stress or something. Her kids were coming and it was kind of hectic. We had to drive and go, so, we had to go. That's when I went to Seattle. It was a lot of chaos anyways. But so she had some sort of flare up where she started not being able to move her arm. I think it happened like the week before, but she couldn't move her arm and it felt like electrical, I guess, some kind of weird thing. I don't really know how to explain it. But so she couldn't use it. And so it became, like she just couldn't use, doing other weird stuff too, like weird stuff. Like she's always looking stuff up, but she's like finding little bubbles under her skin. She found her one arm is shrinking. It's like, what the fuck? So when she had been putting a heating pad on, and so she'd been sleeping on it for like 6 weeks. So yesterday she comes out, and she has this huge, where the thing was, this huge, like, it's beyond a rash. It's like something I've never seen. I've seen it on dead bodies, and that's what's scary. And so she started looking up and everything. It's very, it's scary. I mean, it can turn into cancer and stuff. It's literally like, I think she killed something there. But her body is so sensitive, and she's got such disorders. It's all from the toxins. It's so irritating. So anyways, when you see it, it is like this blanching with all these, oh, it's weird looking. You can look it up. I think, people get it from holding their laptops on their lap, having a heating pad on too long. So really, when it says that 20 minutes off, 20 minutes on, they're not shouldn't do it. Because yeah, she's got some really weird thing, and we're trapped in here, can't even get out and get to the doctor, can't do anything. Now they even close the pass. And one of my friends, the doomsday, because a lot of the people who are super religious, they're very doomsday, it's the rapture, it's the tribulation, when the good people get separated from the bad people and all the bullshit thing. Which to me, I think all ancient text has some information for us, but the Bible has been so manipulated and edited and stuff, and there's more books coming out about what Jesus, really was doing. He was talking the same stuff that I'm talking about. He's talking about consciousness and connection, even if people couldn't understand it. But I think a lot of it was just manipulated because they didn't want us to know. And but anyways, when the other books come out, if you're a Bible person, there's more to come. I find it fascinating about the Sumerian tablets, which hold so much information that I never even heard of until a few years back. It's like, what the hell? They got all this information and they're hiding it from us. So the Sumerian tablets, they have a lot of stuff in them. But I remember how I went from this weird back thing into this Sumerian tablets. I have no idea. But anyways, take it serious on the 20 minutes off, 20 minutes on thing, like really. And if you want to try out the honey, I'll say what I think, after I've tried it out a bit. I just took a shower and did it, so that's why I keep messing with it. I just now did it. And then I was like, do I even want, I was like, I'm not going anywhere, if it looks funky. I gotta just see, because I think we've gotten this idea, just like what I was talking about with smells, like we don't even like natural smells anymore. We want everything perfumed, we want everything shiny and bright. And maybe our hair is supposed to have a more natural sheen to it, and they're just using these detergents and stripping our hair and coating it with chemicals. And then those chemicals seep into our bodies and our brains and our blood. So we're constantly processing this stuff. And, a lot of people have a really hard time. And she has a metal allergy. So I know that's one reason, because of all of the heavy metals that we're poisoned with. There's so much in our water, in our air, and in our food. Our food has got so much carcinogens in it. It's disturbing. It's literally disturbing. Especially when I was a kid. Well, especially because I grew up in farm country. I mean, I didn't grow up in farm country. My relatives were farmers. So I had eaten a lot of fresh food. But then when my mom, she was a young person. And when she moved to the big city, and then, she's so progressive. And then just moved right into the processed food. So, astronaut food. That's what they used to call it. But the astronauts eat it. It's good enough for the astronauts. It's good enough for you. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't even think it's real food. When they switch from orange juice to Tang. Yeah, that's a good choice. Anyway, so the chemicals and stuff, like, we just have to be a lot more on top of it. because they put it in our face, in our hair, in our food, and it's really having a, I guess it's so hard sometimes to get it set right. Now that I watched it on the big screen, you know, because usually I just see it on the TV and this tiny little thing on my phone, and I can't see good anyways. But when it was on the big screen, I was like, oh, I come up real close sometimes. You're right up there. So, another thing I wanted to say real quick, because this came to me this morning, and it was, oh yeah, you know, let's say it right. Because it is, you know, when you start feeling like a star in your own life, because that is kind of the transition. It's becoming the star in your own life. It is when you start living for yourself. It is when you stop trying to please everyone else, because then you're living for everybody else. So you're in this constant desperation to get people to like you and love you and please this person, please that person. So yeah, like I said before, you're never on, I never felt like I was on my own playlist. I was always living off of someone else's playlist or something, you know? And that's the same thing when you're running around trying to please everybody else. You're not living for yourself. So you're not the star of your own life. When you focus on you, you do become the star of your own life. It feels different. You feel different. You feel more centered. You feel like you are the center. So, you know, I really recommend it. And it is all about healing, you know, the healing, so that, because it's all learning to love yourself. Because once you can love yourself completely and accept yourself and stop judging yourself, then you can do it for other people. But it all starts at home. It all starts right here. And, you know, I think that was part of, you know, Jesus's messaging too. Is he talked over, when you see some of the stuff he said and you come at it from the perspective of like what I'm talking about, you see like, oh, that sounds like, you know, he's saying the same thing, but they've twisted it. And then plus there's like a language barrier. And speaking of that, so, okay, this is something that I was seeing this morning. I'm gonna try and explain this. You know, I don't know if it will make any sense, so I'm gonna try and explain. Okay, so yesterday, you know, I was saying about, I think I've said it a bunch of times, you can't step on other people's free will, you know. You can't manipulate and control someone else's energy. Otherwise, there's like a price to pay or something, right? And it puts things out of balance, because you are like, it's trickery. And so we see all that going on, right? And I've talked about this before, but it is about consciousness and consciousness agreement to go through the experience so that it can develop. So you're not shoved in here, even though there is this reincarnation recycle. And I know that there's some people who are a lot more pushed into it, and that's why they are so, I just think a lot of this stuff has been going on a long time. And, but when we get to time, so when we talk about like Jesus and we talk about like pyramids and all that stuff, I really think, or, you know, from what they show me, like how they show me in my head. So when I think, it's like my translation of what I am perceiving, what I'm being shown, is that it is like, we think of things in like a linear, and like we need something three-dimensional to hold on to look at. So we need to understand things on this like elementary kind of concept. But when you really go into it, like I keep saying, because they keep showing me this, and then I keep trying to make sense of it. But so all of these different realities exist, like, but it isn't like they go in order. It's like they are all happening, but they are all connected. But they're all experiences for conscious to go in and develop itself. Sorry she's snoring so loud. Drives people crazy on the TikToks, but they were really quick ones. But in this one, you know, I mean, I talk a lot longer, so she's been in such a mood today. Oh my God. I think it was 3 a.m, she started whining and crying. And then at 5, she's just like, okay, this is it, we're getting up. I know she's in pain, but I'm down to my only little bit of RSO left. and she's got a regular medicine, but that deliveries can't even come in. So one of her medicines she's going to run out of, but we can't get deliveries. There's nothing. And like I said, now they've shut down the pass. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. And my friend who's a religious, that's how I went off on that. The religious person, who, you know, they're all doomsdayers. She was telling me, like, this winter, Inslee's going to shut down the pass. He's going to cut us off from the other, you know, we're going to get cut off. We're going to get, basically what's happening. We can't get things and stuff. So they're not going to be able to get food to the stores. So even when we can get out and go get food, there's going to be problems with getting food because they haven't been able to get the deliveries from the trucks because of the weather and stuff. And so she was telling me all this was going to go on this winter. And, you know, the Pollyanna spiritualist I am was like, oh, it won't go much longer. No, this won't go on. We'll be in the age of Aquarius soon. Don't worry about this. It's like, So, now, you know, with them shutting the pass down and like how this is like, I mean, we're like stranded unless you have 4-wheel drive, which a lot of people on this side of the mountain don't have 4-wheel drive because it never snows over here. But I don't know. Can you see the evidence? I mean, it's like I feel like we're in an igloo, and it's covering the trees again now. Yesterday, for a little while, there wasn't a lot, like it had all fallen off the trees, but now the trees are all heavy again, and I'm sure that carport. But I was like, man, even if I go out and start trying to pound it off of the carport or the greenhouse and stuff, it is attached to the fabric. It's going to make the fabric weaker. So I just got to take my chances on the collapse and let it just melt off, I think. I mean, there's a lot of learning about this stuff. Like my heat tape didn't keep the water from freezing in the kitchen because I had the heat tape. So then I got up. Sorry, I'm going to keep messing with my hair. I used the, when I got up in the morning, the first morning, there was hot water but no cold water. So then I tried putting a lamp out there and it wasn't a hot enough bulb. Because then I ended up, when I put 100 watt one, it melted it, and then I had cold and hot water again. But, how was I going to say that? Oh, maybe just because, in case you get into a situation like this, like a 100 watt bulb and on a little lamp will melt. I mean, it was real quick, too. It was like 10 minutes and the water started running, because you're supposed to leave it on. But I have one of those where it's hot and cold, so you can only leave one on. And the cold didn't, the cold still froze. So, you know, I don't know how all the plumbing is, but this house was definitely not set up for this kind of weather. It wasn't set up for extreme weather. It's a little, you know, cabin for Canadians to come to when they come to America for a holiday. So it is just not a snowy place normally. Even though it was at the base of the mountains, it's still like, if people got an inch or two, it was like, ooh, we got an inch of snow, oh my God. You know, higher up in the ski lift and stuff. But over in Spokane, oh, it snows all the time. That's why I was trying to move away from that, because of the extreme temperatures. I don't like it. It's fucking freezing. My ideal is definitely to live out by a beach, more tropical. I'm a more tropical person. Like, I've got so much, I'll put so much clothes on, and my daughter thinks I'm retarded or something. But I'm like warm-blooded. I get cold. I have like 2 pairs of socks. Oh, those little booty socks didn't make it. Yeah, those things ended too. I don't know, maybe I just am a shuffler. Okay, so back to, okay, we've moved through the disaster time. We're still in the middle of a disaster, and who knows, you know, to what extent this is going to go. It's like I said, you know, we don't know when we do get out of here. Is there even going to be food at the stores? I mean, and I'll tell you another thing. When you get down to your emergency food, you don't eat as much. You know, I had said that all along, like, don't get your idea like you need to be prepared for 3 meals a day. You definitely won't eat as much. Just rice and beans and oatmeal and shit just doesn't sound like good all the time. So it's kind of like, We're gonna have some rice and beans. Oh, how about we have the beans and rice this time? So yeah, um, just I don't know. We're gonna come out of this like what's that? What's that? Naked and Afraid. Yeah, and they go in and they come out. God, my hair. I don't know if I'm gonna. I can't see it very good, but I keep seeing it. It's like it feels like I push it and it just gets stuck. Try and just leave it alone. It's impossible. Okay, so back to this whole thing with consciousness. So, souls come here. They come here willingly. They come here to experience. So we've had all of these different realities going. The different souls are in. Right now, you could be living a whole nother life in a whole nother one at the present time while you're living this one. It didn't happen a long time ago. It's happening presently. And it's just a reality. It's an experience. So your soul can project itself into that experience so it can experience what it's going through. And it has to have that kind of like a veil or whatever they want to call it. You kind of have to have that. See, it's every time I put it back, I feel like it's like, I don't know, maybe it does look too dirty with it. Honey might not be my thing. I don't know. For fine hair, I gotta look up more stuff. Anyway, so the if you go into the experience, like the veil that comes over you are, because you're really your higher self. You're really just a little fractal, and your higher self is still a part of another higher self and another higher self, because it all boils down to this Christ consciousness, this solar system, this huge body that we're all a part of. And so and as consciousness that we go into experience. But it is so weird because we get here and we feel like this is all real. But really, we're just a hologram. Like, we're just so our higher self can experience. Like, we're just puppets. And we are, it's all scripted. Like, we're going to do what we're supposed to do. And so you come in to learn and expand, but it's your higher self who's doing it. So when you connect to your higher self, you get out of this experiences, and you got to stay present in the experience because you're learning about the experience. But it is it's how you feel about the experience. When you connect to your higher self, it gives you a broader perspective. Like, oh, this isn't just about this. There's a whole reason behind it. There's a whole purpose behind things. And you start getting deeper into things. And you start, it just gives you more perspective. And you don't feel so, I don't know. When you get caught up in the avatar existence, you just get so beat down feeling, and nothing makes sense. And it's so manipulated. It's so weird because it is so, but consciousness comes here to go through that. So it knows it's going to be manipulated. It comes to go through the experience that's provided, because there's so many different realities that you can always experience. And why wouldn't you try and experience everything? So a soul goes in to have these different experiences and grow. And the thing, and when they go in, they're not thinking about, like, right now we're at a different time in space. We're at a change, the ages. It's a transition. And so that is why it is this awakening for people to have to wake up and start understanding what consciousness is and stuff, because that's part of the ascension. You have to understand more about themselves. You can't understand more about yourself if you're trapped in a system of enslavement. See, that's where you have to break free from the system. You have to start looking through all of the illusion and seeing it more clearly, because this is all part of the big scheme of things. It's part of the thing. And the souls that are here right now are here for this experience. This isn't by accident. A soul didn't come here and then accidentally, oh, geez, I got caught in the transition. I don't know about that. No, your soul knows. Your soul is so far expanded from what you feel you are. but it's just because you're not tuned into your higher self or all that that you are, you know. So you think you're less than what you are. But when you start really going and it's like I talk about this stuff all the time, so I'm kind of trying to say it in a different way, because I don't know, they keep showing it to me. So if they keep showing me something, I feel like they're trying to get me to explain something or get me to see it or something. So if you go, so the souls that are here, they're here, and I know a lot of souls are like waking up and being like, oh my God, this, you know, and it's, you kind of turn them a different direction almost, you know. It's not your duty, but your obligation. These words. One thing too is when you start going into, when you do start connecting, you know, for one thing, be prepared, because there's always someone talking. They're non-stop talking around you. You just don't realize it. They're always talking. They're always telling you stuff, and they're funny. They think they're funny. They are funny, but they know they're funny. So yeah, they're jokesters. They do say funny things all the time. It will make you. You gotta be careful too. This is that. And you just can't mind looking crazy, because they'll tell you stuff. And you could be around people and they'll tell you something, and could be about somebody. And it'll be hilarious, and it's hard to. I'll just blurt out laughing a lot, but it's funny. But they are funny. That's why I said, if there's people who they are getting mean messages or vulgar or hateful or a direction that's going to put you into a painful situation and stuff, you're not tuned in to the right frequency, you know. And then that's up to you to do your work so that you can get available frequency of kindness. Because there is a lot of meanness, a lot of energy that is, you know, but we have to have both. How could we just exist with one? What would we ever learn? You know, I mean, we'd all just sit in heaven. Why would we ever come out of the heavens? And this world, this life that we think is so real, that is ending for a lot of people right now that are transitioning. You know, so that's probably why they keep showing me, is just to keep this in mind. It's not, we were just so trained to think that death is a finality, that it's over, things are ending, but it is not. It is just a transition out of this existence into our real life, our real existence, because our real existence is it is so much more about it doesn't have pain and suffering and stuff, but we come here to learn about pain and suffering, because it develops as the souls, develops compassion, it develops unity. That's what we're headed to now. So all of this stuff that's going on is for us to develop. So we had these hard things that humans have had to go through over eons of experience to bring themselves up to this level of expansion. And then they reached this level, and now there's this opportunity to expand yourself. But it's all about self. And that's why a lot of people, I think, you know, that's going to be a limitation for a lot of people, because they're going to feel like they don't deserve to focus on themselves. I mean, there's so there's so many multi-complexities to everybody's experience and existence and their path. And that's why, you know, it's just important to connect for your own self, for your own peace of mind, because sometimes, you know, rotten things happen, and you can feel like, you know, what the fuck? Or just that bad karma? Like, why does bad stuff just constantly happen to me? But then when you start understanding it on a soul level, then it starts making a lot more sense. So it's a release of that kind of painful thing. When you go through a situation and you start looking at it in that way of like, what am I here to learn from this? What am I learning from this experience, and don't block yourself. So many people want to block themselves. I don't want to know anything bad about myself. I just need to think those people are bad. That's them. It's they're bad. They're bad. And don't want to look at themselves. But the universe is going to keep shoving yourself down your throat, because that's what all this is about. It's about learning about yourself. It doesn't matter about anybody else. Nobody else matters. Only you matter. So it's focusing on you. It's focusing on your needs. It's focusing on saving yourself. It's focusing on your own health, on your own, your own creative expansion. Because I think we're moving out of this whole idea of, like I've said, of employment. And we're going to be a lot more expanding in what we can deliver for people, and so many people are going to find so much more artistry in themselves and creativity. And, I think that's super exciting. And they're going to see they have skills. You don't have to go and work for somebody endless hours and be a slave to this paycheck. You can go out and live for yourself, and experience for yourself, and make the money you want to make when you want to make it, by the skills that you can present, what other people need, and what you have to offer. That's why I say develop your own skills. Focus on those things while we're in lockdown. I don't even know if everybody else is in lockdown, seriously. Is it just Washington State? I don't know. And is it, it's not the same kind of lockdown. This is weather, but it's, what are we in now? I think it's a month. Yeah, because the flood started, because we were taking the kids. We drove down to show them the floods. And there was just roads blocked off, and then this all started, right at. So it's definitely been a month of this nonsense. So, yeah. But, I just feel like there's a lot of people who, in the awakening, it makes them feel angry and cheated and mad, and we lived with all these lies and stuff, and it's a lot of confusion. It is a lot to wrap your head around, just like I said, man. When you're told your whole life Charles Manson's the devil, and then all of a sudden you find out he was the scapegoat. The CIA was the devil. Or they supplied the drugs. They had these people strung out on drugs, and no telling what kind of chemicals. They've been so busted on testing these drugs and stuff on people, especially back in the 60s and 70s. They were testing them on housewives. They were testing them on army people, obviously on hippies, whatever. But there's a lot of people, you start waking up to this reality, and you start getting really angry and upset. You start feeling like how fucked this is, and then a lot of people get really hung up on, like, it's not going to change. We're stuck. We gotta change. We don't. And to me, this is the thing: is that we don't have to go out and change every single thing. We have to change what is in our existence. That is how we unify. That's how we all have the same direction. We all know we want freedom. We don't want government telling us what to do and starving us and controlling our money and all this stuff. So, and we've seen, like, in other realities where it wasn't under this kind of control. It's always been controlled, but, they had more freedom to, they could get a freaking wagon train across the country and stuff. They track our freaking, why they want these fancy computer goddamn cars. They track us on GPS. They swear to God, if they targeted you, they'd know where you are all the time and just drop a damn bomb on you, just like they showed in that movie that one time. I think it was, what's that guy's name? It's a weird name. He's like 3 names and then weird names. Like, for a while, he was just like strung out on drugs and going to jail, and he had anger and getting fights and stuff. It's a really strange name. I can see him, I can see the name, but I can't. But in this movie, I'm pretty sure he's the person in it, and I don't remember why they're tracking him, but they know where he is at all times, and they're like coming in with helicopters shooting and stuff. They have those abilities. They can find any of us whenever they want. I told you, when the Secret Service showed up in my house, it was a freaking tweet. And they showed up in my house a couple hours later. So, they know where we are. They're tracking us. They know what the fuck we're doing all the time. We're their property, remember? They're trying to get it in the paperwork. But anyways, while the people are waking up, I can't put my hair behind my ear because I don't know if I'm going to stick with the honey thing. Because it is, anyways, I'll just go back to where when the people are getting angry and stuff over this shift in reality, when they start realizing, you know, it is about this release and this understanding about this was for a soul's journey. This wasn't just to punish you. The more you connect to your soul, the more you're going to realize this was all just a part of an experience, a journey for the soul to have, to grow and expand. So the more you can release your anger and hatred and all of that stuff during this time at these, you know, I mean, they are evil. They are bad. They are negative. And, you know, go through your emotions, go through your feelings, but release them, you know, process them. Don't get caught up in that thing too, like, oh, well, I can't feel anger. I can't feel upset feelings and all that because then I'm not spiritually enlightened. And that's not true because you don't, I think we shouldn't be judging emotions. We're here to experience, to find balance, to feel them, to process, to grow, to heal. So how do you do that? If you go, oh, I can only use these ones. Put those ones away. Get those away. I'm only going to use these. And no, you need it all. You need it all. But you got to find balance. That's what expands you, is having it all and knowing what to use. It's just like an artist with a palette, you know? You're just going to put it all on there because less is more. You know, it is all of learning. It is a creator's way of learning how to create themselves, how to paint yourself the way you want. Oh, my hair. It's like fucking James Dean hair. Maybe that's what they use. Anyways, so just, I don't know if that made any sense at all. But what is happening is supposed to be happening this way. It's not happening so you get stuck and be upset and feel fucked over and feel stupid and feel ignorant. And, you know, how did I not see this? Why did I not know this was going on right under my nose and all that stuff? It's not for, it's for you to see it, to process it, to pull away, to understand who and what you are. Everything happening is only for that. So I know there's a lot of people who are just really holding on. And I've said since the beginning, don't hold on to things. It's gonna rip right out of your hands because this world is collapsing. This world is ending. But it's not the end of the world. It's the end of this reality, the end of this existence of control and manipulation and tyranny. And we're moving into a time of freedom and jubilee and abundance and love and unity. So it's just the transition, but in the transition, you know, we have to leave. We don't want to take any of it. It's got to expose itself so we can leave it behind. We don't need that stuff anymore. And that's why, you know, I try and say to some people who are really caught up in the stuff is you've got to release yourself from that stuff. You know, you've got to go in and look like, oh, my friends are doing this, but, you know, I kind of feel like I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be different. Then, you know, take that stand. And even if they don't want to follow, you doing it will help somebody else do it. It may take them a week or two, you know, because it takes a lot of inner strength to break free from the crowd and to walk independently. But it's super important. And it's claiming yourself. Claiming your own identity, claiming your sovereignty, knowing your worth, learning to balance, learning your own importance in your own life. Those are all of the things that, you know, we're expanding ourselves. So, anyways, that was my little tidbit for today. Who knows? I may come back. I mean, look at this, how dark it is, and it's almost 9 o'clock. It's totally dark. I mean, there's still, it looks like it to you. It may look to you like there's light, but there's not. It's totally dark. Oh, and yesterday when I said, if we get the illumination disc at all, it'll show up around 10. And it did. It came like, I think it was like 10 to 11:30 or 12. And it was just a big, bright, a burn your eyeball light. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't melt the sun. Doesn't, it doesn't melt the sun. It doesn't melt the snow or anything like that. It doesn't do anything. It just blinds you. I don't know, it's very weird because you can feel the heat of it. You'd think it would melt the snow more, but I think this snow's probably got a lot of artificial stuff in it too. I could probably bring it in and burn snowballs. Seriously. Probably don't even need wood. Just bring in the snowball. Just burn the snow. It's full of freaking plastic and who knows what all. Anyways, so have a great day, and hopefully you're staying warm. I saw on the thing, we still got the big old glacier problem and the asteroid headed our way. It just cracks me up because that movie Armageddon, wasn't that the disaster that they had at that time? The giant asteroid that was headed that way, and they had to send people up to try and destroy it, and then they had to just Harry carry themselves or whatever. They had to just give themselves over to save the world. So anyways, and yesterday too, when I was looking through the headlines, there was another one that said that they showed a picture of an egg and a dinosaur, and they said something about the dinosaurs. But I've seen several things now with the dinosaurs. I swear to God, they're Jurassic Park in this place. They are freaking, these people. I bet you if you were one of the people clearing the tunnels, I bet you saw some fucking freaky shit. They're experimenting on, fly. Half person, half fly. Like, that's what they're doing. They are trying to be gods. They're going against the natural creator, I think. But I'm all about nature and the natural creator and soul and spirit and stuff. And ever since I've been here to this place, being a kid, I couldn't understand that. Like, I saw things differently because I was always looking at it from the soul and the spiritual part. And they started trying to conform me to religion, and I would be like, I don't understand this. What about this? This doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, it doesn't have to make sense. You just have to believe. Yeah, but it has to make sense to believe. That's why I said, you go in and you start expanding yourself, start listening to other things that are outside of the box. And you will know, you will have an inner knowing. You don't have to have faith and believe in something you don't believe in. You have to look for what you believe in because it's out there. But you have to, break free from the limitations and the paradigms and the structures that they have boxed you into so that you can find your own truth. This is a journey to self. So I'm talking a long time. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.